They just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without the stop. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
Good morning, everyone. That was everyone. Isn't it horrible weather? Absolutely freezing, raining. It's just nuts. Absolutely nuts. Do you know what? I've got caps, and I was looking for. I can't find them. I can't find my caps. About 5 or 6 of them. And I was looking for them yesterday before I went out shopping. And I just can't find them. I don't know. I haven't threw them out. Unless our Francines threw them out. Anyway, that's me. I just want to say, I want to thank this Gap Painting Services for sponsoring all my pods. Every single one of them, from, the history on a Monday to football, to everything, to this morning. Current affairs, they sponsor everyone. And without them, I'm being honest, I just couldn't afford to do them, to be honest. And I just want to thank them, Gap Painting Services. They're fully insured, these lads. They're fully time served. They're all I can't explain enough what these lads are like. They're absolutely brilliant. And if you're an NHS worker, if you're an elderly person or even an elderly couple, get them in because you get special discounts. And even if you're not one of those, just phone them up to give you the price. Don't struggle. And they'll give you the price. And there's no obligation to say, oh yeah, go ahead with it. Just get them in. They're brilliant, honestly. Really good. And they give you references as well, 5-star references. And that's what the lads are like. And also, it's not just inside, it's outside as well, and commercial, and industrial. Everything they do. So just get them in if you can. Thank you. That's Gap Painting Services. Wonderful people. CW. Oh, Frank in chat. How you see? How are you? Big up Gap Painting Set. Thank you. They are the wonderful people, honestly. See, and he says, smash the likes and subscribe. There's a few films I want to talk about, actually. And there's one, and I had mentioned it during the week, and it's harrowing. It's harrowing. And it's the voice of Hind Rajab, that little 6-year-old girl. And 3 of the producers, there's a lot of producers, but 3 of them is Brad Pitt, Joaquin Phoenix, and Mara Rooney, Hollywood's actors. They said, they must have said, we've got to do this. We've got to show people this. And it's what it's about. It's the real voice of young Hind, 6 years of age, in a car. And she's calling for help to the Palestinian ambulance service. You know, their Red Cross, the equivalent of the Red Cross. Just watch it. To see the hardship of these people, these ambulance people getting the green light to go into these areas to get the wounded. It's shocking, you know, what's going on. I advise you to watch it. If you can take it, as I said, it's very harrowing. It's the proper, they've got the actors in place of the real people who were, you know, in communication with young Hind. But it's word for word these actors are saying what these, because everything was recorded, you see. So they brought the acting is absolutely superb. Superb. Morning, one and all, Snapey. I bet your Snapey's gone. Let's see, morning, Snapey. It's great, isn't it? You know, they come on and they go. So, and don't forget, you know, tomorrow I've got to watch along. I've got to watch along. There's another film, you see this, Tremors. Now, Tremors, there's a film, and I watched it, and I thought, fucking hell, it was a waste of 2 hours. So if you're thinking of watching it, don't fucking bother. It's called They. Very similar to this. And I thought, but I watched it to the end, and very disappointing. Very disappointing. But I did watch a film yesterday. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't. It was on Thursday when, you know, I had nothing going on. And I watched for the second time a film. And again, it's a must-see. If I have mentioned this before, you know, hopefully that you have watched it. You have watched the recommendation. And that's called Knox Goes Away with Michael Keaton. It's fantastic. And it reminds me, I can't tell you too much about it because if you haven't seen it, it'll spoil it for you. But it's about a hitman. That's what I can tell you. It's about a hitman and his mate. Just watch it. As I said, if you haven't watched it, please watch it. Because it does remind me of something. But I can't tell you like too much because it'll spoil the whole thing. But just watch it. Knox Goes Away. And you know what? It went on YouTube. Believe it or not. It's only 2 years old and it went on YouTube. I don't know how. But it has a different title. under a different title rather than Knox Goes Away. But if you can stream, get Knox Goes Away. Knox, his name. His name is Knox. It's fabulous, honestly. And it's a good cast as well. With cameos in it. Because I think Michael Keaton asked, do us a favour, would you come in as just to give it a bit of a boost. But it was brilliant. And I tell you who's in it, James Marsden. James Marsden's a very, very good actor. He's in it. Al Pacino, he's in it. Al Pacino. So, just watch it. That's Knox Goes Away. And I was glad that I watched it again. Put it that way. But as I said, there's films here it's horrible. It's just, like I said about that day, wasted me time. It's like an hour and a half of not getting back, as they say. Ali from Romania. Hello, boys. Hiya, Ali. TW. Yup, we'll give you a watch, Frank. Michael Keaton, a good actor. Yeah, he is. But you want to see him in this. You want to see him in this, TW. It's, as I said, I think he produced it. And that's why, he must have asked a couple of friends, do us a favour, will you come in it? Just to give it a boost. Gary Rigby. Hey, Gary. Morning, everyone. Hey, Gary. Yes, so that's it. A few films I watched as well. These American films. That's the all. That Michael Keaton's an exception. And I watched it, right? And then you jump on another thing, as I mentioned about Day. Oh. And then I watched another one called, I did mention this last week, called Killer Whale. Like two girls. These two girls decide to go away. One of them, has got a few, but she said, come on, I'll take you away. So they go to Thailand, of all places. Americans. They go to Thailand. And they get stranded on a rock. Stranded on a rock. This big whale, killer whale surrounding them. Three of them go in the water. One is a fella. And you know what's going to happen to the fella, don't you? As they're going into the water. I'm not giving too much away. You know what's going to happen. He's going to be eaten. Yeah. And he was. By this killer whale. Then two girls are stuck on a rock in the middle of this. So that's it. That's the film. If you want to watch it, watch it. Not that I'm recommending it, like, but it's just the daftness of it. Then there's another one, a couple of years old, called Survival. If you like survival films, and it's about a family on on their boat. It's about a family on their boat, and they go out to sea, to celebrate the son's birthday. I forget how old he is, only a young teenager. To celebrate his birthday. Then all of a sudden, there's waves, and they're bashed about, they're all unconscious. And when they wake up, the ocean or whatever it is has been drained, if you know what I mean. And so they're at the bottom of the ocean. It's all dry, like they're at the bottom of the ocean, but no water. And it's just called Survive or Survival. One of them said, watch that. But it's, if you like survival films and how did you survive, watch it. Watch it. Yeah, Snapey's back, look. Morning, say. And as I said about the voice of Hind Raja, that's a must watch. If you can, stomach it, to be honest. If you can stomach it. But also, very strongly recommended, as I mentioned about Knox Goes Away, and also All the Devils Are Here. Great film. All the Devils Are Here. It's really, really good. I think someone had seen it and he's put it up when I seen when I was doing one of the pods. So I've seen it, very excellent. So highly recommended. All the Devils Are Here. Sam Claflin, Eddie Marsan. Eddie Marsan's a fantastic actor. One of our best, actually. One of our best British actors. And I mentioned a film that he was in, and I couldn't think of the title. And it's, about 5 years old. And I watched it. Brilliant. About an office worker for the council. And he goes to, people who have passed on to their homes and they've got no family. And he sorts everything out, about burial, about, whatever. And he's the only one who attends, because the people who he goes to see and clears up their homes, there's no people at the funeral. There's only the vicar, the grave diggers, and Eddie Marsan. They're the only ones that are there. Eddie Marsan goes to every funeral. That's well worth a watch. It's called Still Life. Because one of the lads got it up, he said it's called Still Life. That film, very good. And it is. It's a poignant film, put it that way. Good old little British one. But as I said, All the Devils Are Here. Fantastic. Fabo. Eddie Marsan, as I said, Sam Claflin. Sam Claflin's a very good actor, by the way. He's more or less in Hollywood now. You know what I mean? He's just over there. I've seen him in a film with, what's his name? Casey Affleck. That's Ben Affleck's brother. He's a good actor, Casey Affleck. Rather have him than Ben as brother. And he just shows up, this fella, to Casey Affleck's house, him and his wife, He just shows up at his house. And this Sam Claflin's there. Forget what the title, unfortunately. But that's an excellent film as well. A couple of years old. So, like when it just shows up at the house, an English fella, at Casey Affleck's house, something's wrong. It's really good. Snapey says, that survival film sounds draining, Frank. Sounds draining, Frank. Yeah, it does drain you. It drains you. As if I love survival films, by the way. That's why I put it on. I like survival. And the T says, I watched Glenn Ross for the first time the other day. I can't believe I hadn't seen it before. Al Pacino, I don't like that Alec Baldwin. He's a fucking prick, him. Jack Lemmon and loads of others. Amazing cast, yeah. Seen it years ago. It was a stage play. It was an actual stage play. And they made it into a film. Old salesman, isn't it? Wasn't my type of film, to be honest. See. But it is an amazing cast. I just don't like that Alec Baldwin. He's a prick in real life, yeah. He got away with murder or manslaughter, put it that way, when he shot that girl on the set. He knew that it wasn't a blank. He fucking knew that. And pointed it at it and shot and fired it. I went, I didn't know that. Well, why was he fucking pointing at it in the first place? Point at it anyway. See what I mean? Why would he point a gun, even if they were blanks in it, and shoot her? And if I was being the prosecutor, I would have asked him that question. Why did you point the gun specifically at her and fired? Why? There must have been a reason. And that girl died, shot by him. Don't like him. Kim Basinger blew him up, didn't she? He was married to like that Steve McQueen, another prick, him. And he was blown up, not just by his ex-wives or the girls that he used to knock about with. He was known as Mr. Fucking Cool. But that's the way it is. You do get horrible people in the acting business, think that they're demigods and they're not, they're all pricks. And super cool is Steve McQueen and that Alec Baldwin. There's a few of them. I remember talking to Stephen Graham and I said to him, I said, what's that Nick Cage like? And he said he's one of the best fellas you could ever wish to meet, because he acted with him in some mad thing. He said he's brilliant. He said he lays on, he says after the film, he lays on everything for the crew, just the crew. Even the cleaners, he said. He cleans up after every, whatever. The cleaners put a big spread on, gave them envelopes, And in the envelopes was $2,000, even to the cleaner. The cleaners got $2,000, big spreads, and said, "Enjoy yourselves, thank you," and walked off. That was at the end of the film. He says with Nick Cage, Stephen Graham told me. And if you ever want to know about Clint Eastwood, just ask me. Me and Clint. Like that, as you know. Kyle Walsh, gunner. Kyle Walsh, gunner. This is an Arsenal fan, obviously, with the big badge there. And gunner. Kyle Walsh, gunner. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Kyle. I watched Apocalypse Now the other night for the 100th time. What a masterpiece. In my opinion, the greatest war movie ever made. What do you think of it? Kyle, brilliant. And normally I don't like it. I know you're going to go, oh, what? I don't like the likes of Marlon Brando. Don't like him. But anyway, he was brilliant. The film, absolutely outstanding. And there's a scene in it, and you must have seen it. You must know this scene if you watched it time and time again. Is what's his name? Duval. Right. And he comes out with his cavalry hat on. And he stands there. And he's got his hands on his hips with his cavalry hat on. And he says, there's nothing like the smell of napalm first thing in the morning. And behind him, the backdrop, you just see the napalm, being dropped by these planes. Napalm, anyone who dropped that or gave them the green light to drop it should have been brought before the Hague for war crimes. But no one is ever held accountable in America. You've only got to see what's going on today. No one is ever held accountable. Robert Duval, when he stood there like that, there's nothing like the smell of napalm in the morning. Because I've actually seen real footage, I've seen photographs, I've seen everything about this napalm being dropped. It's really an anti-war film, by the way. That's how good it was. Martin Sheen, he played this young fella. And the fella he played was a real life officer. He's only a young fella. So, yeah. It was a frightening film. Yeah, well, Vietnam. 58,000 Americans were killed there. But how many Vietnamese people were killed? Civilians as well included. People trying to defend their homeland from America. 1 million Vietnamese to 58,000 Americans. What were they there in the first? Well, why were they there? It's a very hard question to answer. Why were they in Vietnam? Full Metal Jacket's a good film as well. Full Metal Jacket. But one of the my favourite film, war film, in all honesty, where it takes in the reality and the history of it, was undoubtedly The Longest Day. The Longest Day. About the Normandy landings. The Normandy landings. D-Day. And people, I do get asked, like I used to, and they said, well, why did they call it D-Day? I said, because it went in alphabetical order, when to go. A, it could have been A-Day, but the weather was against them. Same as B. I'm not going to say B-Day. And C-Day. But the weather was favourable on the D. D-Day. They said, let's go. We've got to go now. And they went. That's why it was D-Day. Could have gone up to Q-Day. Could have gone up to any day, if you know what I mean. But yeah, Kyle, good shout about Apocalypse Now. And the Snape says, Frank, I hope that's your chair creaking and not your hips. Yeah, my hips. Or any part of your anatomy. Agreed on the Anthony Baldwin, Alec Baldwin. Man's a 125 carat prat. Can't hack him at all. I won't watch anything that he's in. Honestly. I had to watch something. What was it that he was in? But I only watched it because of another actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was in it, and it was a comedy, and it was brilliant. And I forget the title. But Baldwin was in that along with that other prat, Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller. Jennifer Aniston as well, she was in it. Oh, what was it called? I forget what it was called, unfortunately. But, if you like a comedy, and if you can bear that Alec Baldwin for a few moments, he's not in it constantly. It's more of Philip Seymour Hoffman, Ben Stiller, that prat who gave his Oscar. No, or he went to see Zelensky. Well, why don't you? Ben Stiller, Zelensky. So anyway, he went to see it, and I thought, you fucking prat. So I won't watch anything with him. Oh, what's it called? But it is funny. It is funny. Yes, Frank, that Baldwin is a prick, says the tick. Kim Basinger blew him right up, blew him out the water. Same as Catherine Ross. Is it Catherine? No, not Catherine Ross. Oh, what's her name? She married, well known, married Steve McQueen, and he wouldn't allow her to do any films. It wasn't Catherine Ross. Who was it? I forget her name. She just blew him out the water. Only recently as well, people were going on about Super Cool and Mr. Cool, and she said, "You didn't fucking know Mr. Cool. Horrible. Mr. fucking motorbike." Anyway, boss says, as I said last night, watch the insider film of the way the USA handled the 2008 financial crash. The last thing they cared about was the people losing. Oh, it's going on today. It's always gone on. You've only got to go back to 2005 and Hurricane Katrina, where it just fucking more or less blew away. Homes. And I always remember W. Bush, W saying, "Don't be worrying about the homes, we will fix them." And it was mostly black population who was in these homes that was destroyed by Katrina, Hurricane Katrina. New Orleans, they're still without homes today. Don't give a fuck. Everything is money to the Americans. That's why they love regime changes, because they go in, get the resources, and what else do they get? They get the gold. That never ever comes out, does it? These owners in Venezuela, someone said, one of was it? I don't know the fucking name, but it was one of the governments who's in now. They said the gold reserves are gone. Where are they? Have a look in America. Fort Knox is empty, but it's getting filled up with the gold from all these countries that they go into by the Americans. Regime changes. Never gets mentioned, that ever. The boss. Film called Too Big to Fail. Is that or fall? Well, whatever. The arrogance of the USA. Still today, 20. Of course. Yeah. Horrible. And the boss says, "Okay, Frank, have a good show. Catch the footy show tomorrow. Ciao." Thank you, boss. Ciao. Thank you. Martin Sheen had a heart attack during the filming of Apocalypse Now. At the time, it was kept quiet to prevent shutdown. That's how much they care about actors. The show must go on. The show must go on. It's like Tommy Cooper. Tommy Cooper wasn't feeling well. The show, and he was even advised, "Listen, don't do the show tonight." And that's the show must go on. Tommy's the main man. Goes on, dies, heart attack. Ali McGraw, thank you. T, thank you. Couldn't think the girl's name. He stopped her from working. And studios were saying, "Listen, we've got a script here for you. Don't do it. Used to beat her up and everything. But not only here, other girlfriends. Somewhere, I forget what actor it was, or actress. And she had a black eye. Anyway, her brother, he wasn't in the film business or anything. He went to visit her in Hollywood, lived in Hollywood, LA or somewhere, wherever they fucking lived. And he said, how'd you get that? She said, I fell. She said, I fell and banged me out. And he said, that's terrible. But a girl who worked for her, I don't know, maid or whatever, I don't know. She said, Steve did that to her. Beat her up. Give her a black eye. And the brother, he said, oh, did he? Okay. Found out where he was. He was on location. And they had to hold up location for 2 weeks, whatever film it was, because he just went right over to him and beat him up. He said, if you ever touch my sister again, he said, you'll never come out of hospital. He went to see him, you just beat him up. No one done anything. He just got back in his car and drove off. And he went to visit him in hospital. No, he didn't. He went to visit the home. He said, if you ever touch my sister again, ever, you will never leave hospital. Or something like that. Mr. Cool. Super cool. Obviously, they split up. I haven't watched many films lately. What about music? I've been getting into jazz, especially John Coltrane. I don't like jazz, Gary. I just don't like it at all. Clint Eastwood loves jazz. Clint, he loves jazz. I can't stand it. I really can't. I like some Woody Allen. He's got a little band. Don't know about now, like since all the exposure about him. But nevertheless, it's what people think. It's what their kind of music is. I love classical and opera. I love it. It sounds strange to you, but I just love opera and classical music. Besides the Beatles, I love the 60s scene. I like some of I don't like rap. That sends out horrible messages that if you listen to the lyrics. Unfortunate lyrics as well. But if I want to relax, I just put, if I'm feeling a bit down, I put my classicals on. Put my classicals on. I love Bizet, Verdi, Puccini. They're the operas. One of my favourite pieces is O Fortuna by Carl Orff. Try and get that one. O Fortuna. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Brilliant. Oh, if I would have had my violin with me, was it just give you a few bars of it rather than dun 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 dun. I'm cracking up. And Gary says, I watched Tommy Cooper that night. I knew there was something wrong with what they, yeah, and they went straight to the break. Yeah, he just went, didn't he? And people thought it was funny, it was in the act. Died. But he was told, but they said, no, it's like anything. It's like anything. I'm not saying me, what I'm going to say now. And I had to take people, important people, just I don't know who they were, I forget who they were, around Liverpool. They wanted to see certain places. Who were they? I forget who they were. Can't think. But they were important. They were from, a couple were from Germany, a couple from Sweden, a couple of Americans, French, Italian, one Italian, and I don't know whether it was Spanish or Portuguese. What were they? I don't know whether they were architects or what. And it's through this. So anyway, I was advised not to take them because I had a condition that, and it was really bad. I said, no, I'll be all right. They went, do you want to come home? I said, what do you mean, do I want to come home? He said, if you go out. I'm going back 15 years ago. 15 years ago. So I never went. And they got someone in. And they thought it was me. Because the fella just showed up and went around. And they said, I thought he was there, one of the best. This is what they said. An Irish fella as well. Went to, I forget what were they. I forget what they were. I don't know whether they were architects or what. Just figure. But that's the thing, you see. If you're told not to go, like Tommy Cooper on the no to it, it's shocking. And as it was mentioned about Martin Sheen, good actor Martin Sheen, having a heart attack, but they wanted the thing, might shut down the film, my project might shut down, cost more money and all this nonsense, So they're not interested in anybody's help. Look at Ollie Reed during Gladiator. They had to fill him in with stand-ins who looked like him to end the film. But he died, didn't he? In the pub where he'd like to die. Good morning, everyone. Frank, Paulie. Hiya, Paulie. My old mate, Paul Bear. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, Paul, lads. I never used to like either. I never used to like it either, Frank, growing up in punk and 60s. I grew up on punk and 60s music. Says Gary. Yeah, 60s. You can't beat the 60s. Loved it. I was out and about then. Full of energy, black hair. Nostalgic. Very nostalgic. I'm a very nostalgic person, by the way. And my old mate Steve Malone. Hi, Frank. First time I'd been on your TV and film show. Not going out today. Oh, you're staying in. Don't blame you. Don't blame you for the weather stay. And she says, Clint directed the film Bird about Charlie Bird Parker starring Forrest Whitaker. Yeah. He loves jazz. He loves jazz. That's why he did that, Charlie Bird Parker. I'm loving classical music, says Paulie. I'm a big rock fan. I couldn't hear a piece and name it, the composer. But I'm booking to go to Salzburg, mainly for the music connection, Mozart. Great Mozart. Great. But you do have, Bach. Sebastian Bach. But the Italians, from Vivaldi onwards. Love it. Relaxes me. But when I'm really down, which is quite a lot, I tell you what my favourite piece of music, and it brings me down, and it's Tchaikovsky's 1812. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Incredible. The mixture of the music. And the history behind it, by the way, of the 1812. And Gary says, nice bit of jazz in the morning with a pot of coffee is relaxing. Yeah, it's whatever. I'm not having a go at you. It's just that it's not my cup of tea. Do you know what? I took a painkiller before. Fuck me. I remember seeing Cozy Powell in the Empire, and his drum solo was the go away, stay, was it? Cozy Powell, no, there's a name to cozy up to. Yeah, there's lots of drums, especially the cannons and the cymbals in the 1812. Incredible. I love the climax to it. Unbelievable, the crescendo. Oh. Just started watching The Outer Limits. Bit cheesy now, but dead scary as a kid. Yeah, you're right there, Paul. Everything is dated, isn't it? Have you noticed? Everything gets dated. Even films like from the last decade, have become dated, as they say. There's a couple of TV series which will never be dated, and that's The Sopranos and Hill Street Blues. The Sopranos and Hill Street Blues. Have a guess what I'm going to see in May? The Empire. The greatest play ever written, I'm going to see. Macbeth. The Liverpool Empire. Yep. And Paul Berg's just started watching The Outer Limit. Oh, yeah, sorry there. He said that. Paul. And Paulie says, my daughter loves Verdi. I love Verdi. Love him. Reckons Italian classical and opera is more flowing and spiritual than the... Oh, yeah. Well more. Well more. Well more, Paulie. And Gary says, Cozy Powell, one of the best drummers ever after Ginger Baker. Ginger Baker. You're right there. But there used to be a fella by the name of Gene Krupa, an American. They reckon he was the greatest of all drummers. But that goes back to the 50s. Gene Krupa. I think they made a film about him as well. Around the time. That's how good he was. And Steve Mulholland says, hi Frank, what was your favourite decade for films? Watched an hour program last night about the movies of the 90s. It's hard to say, to be honest. You know, there was some good 60s ones, there was some good 70s, 80s, and 90s, as you said. There are some good ones, even, you know, just a few. I mentioned Knox Goes Away. Watch it. Fantastic. It's a couple of years old. Unbelievable. You know, it depends as well on the genre that you like. I like a variety of them. When I was working, coming home, I wanted to get away from all the reality of everything. You know, I just wanted to get away from it. And what used to, you know, I used to put on a film. I liked horror, just to get away from the reality of like working somewhere obnoxious people, so you get away from that. So we used to watch a horror film, no matter what one. And then science fiction. Science fiction is brilliant. And if you want a film to watch, there's two films, the best of their genre. One is called, you know, I'm talking about science fiction here, Extraterrestrial. Fantastic film. It was a low budget film as well, but fantastic. Extraterrestrial. That's all it's called. Extraterrestrial. Watch it. Watch it. So you'll know what it's about, extraterrestrial, won't you? Rather than me go into it. And if you've seen it, let me know on here. What did you think of it? I thought it was fantastic. For a low budget film, one of the best made. Then I watched another one of the other kind. And you can get it on YouTube, but I don't like YouTube films because they edit it a lot. And they always put like these things up, you know, to blank it out. I don't know what the fuck that's all about. So you get, you know, you can stream it. It's called 30 Days of Night. About vampires. About a place that goes, you know, a month, it goes in total darkness in the winter. And people leave and people stay, if you know what I mean. They leave for that month, go to family, wherever they, you know, they are. And other people just stay. 30 Days of Night. Josh Hartnett's in that. I'm trying to think of a film. I should have wrote it down. I like clever films, as you know. And I said, you know, even All the Devils Are Here is clever. Clever little film. But there's another one, and I went, so I must tell them about this. I forget the name of it. Can't think. Can't even think what it's about, but I said, it's clever, this. Again, I think I'm losing it, boys and girls. Well, there's only lads on, isn't there? No one else, no girls. They're all out shopping or hoovering or whatever they're doing. And Snipey says, the best part of The Edge it's a good film, The Edge. Anthony Hopkins is where Baldwin falls into the deadfall at the end. It's one film I'll watch with him. I love Kodiak, Grizzlies, and that's Bart, who was the bear in it. Kodiak. Used to be a film series called Kodiak, by the way, with Clint Eastwood, not Clint Walker. Remember that fellow out of the Dirty Dozen? Clint. Kodiak, it was called, for TV film. It was only a series, seeing every week. Never thought much of it, like I was waiting for bears and everything. Never seen any. And Paulie says the Sopranos are playing The Empire this month. Tries to get tickets and it's sold out. Yeah, only yesterday. Only yesterday. Michael Imperioli. He likes Liverpool. Michael Imperioli, who played Christopher in The Sopranos, the young nephew, he always came over to Liverpool. Did you know that? Loved visiting Liverpool. Michael Imperioli. And he's bringing his Oppo with, I forget his name. He's bringing his Oppo with him down to the cavern. Yeah. Great, isn't it? And CW says Frank Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas. You wouldn't think so, would you? Michael Douglas. He's another prick after his dad, Michael Douglas. It's like it's like what's his name? What's his face? Stuart Granger. His name was James Stewart. Was it James Stewart? Yeah. So he had to change his name to the Stuart Granger. Great films from every decade, but the 70s was outstanding. Loads of good films came out. One of the great films, Gary, was with Dusty Hoffman. St. Peckinpahs. Straw Dogs. The best film, the best West film I've ever seen, Western. Sorry. Excuse me. The best Western I ever seen, whether you agree or not, people say the gunfights at the OK Corral. With Burke Douglas as well. Burt Lancaster. Burke Douglas and Burt Lancaster. But anyway, the best film, best Western in my opinion, is The Wild Bunch. Ernest Borgnine. Do you know what? I watch a lot of things. And, about like stars and, whatever. They come up and, you're watching it. And these fucking Americans, they love saying that, these born in America, and they said Ernest Borgnine was born in America. He wasn't. He was fucking born. He was Italian. He was Sicilian. And he came over and he actually got to Liverpool. He got to Liverpool. But his family couldn't speak a word of English, only a little boy. And he went to St. Francis Xavier's in Shaw Street or Salisbury Street, whatever way you want to call it. And that's where he learns his English. It's fucking shocking what these Americans, it's all American, isn't it? That like YouTube. It's American owned, but they love saying it. Oh, born in fucking wasn't. He was born in Sicily. He's Sicilian. He got to Liverpool like a lot of other Italians and Jews and other people, Irish, everyone, coming into Liverpool to get to the new world. And they say, but he was, and I can't forget his name. Irish shit that he was fucking born in. What he was it? And he was fucking Irish, born in Ireland. And another one was Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson's Australian. Yeah, born it. He fucking wasn't. He was born and bred in fucking Australia. Right? They love saying that, born. I'd love one to come on about Al Jolson to see where he was born. And another thing about these fucking Americans as well, Natalie Wood. Now, I knew her parents, didn't know her parents, but her parents, and they were Russian. Her parents were Russian. And she has a Russian name as well, a proper name, her and her sister. She was actually raped by Kirk Douglas, Natalie Woods, when she was 15. Did you know that? Fucking hate that Douglas. He's dead now, you shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but I will about him. Fucking horrible prick. Anyway, it came up and it said, Natalie never said anything about it being, it was just like films and that. Yeah, Natalie, whose parents were Ukrainian. And I thought, fuck off. You see what I mean? How they fucking changed. She was Russian. She had Russian parents. Could you imagine her parents today listening to that? Because they were proud Russian. They said, no. They would have said, no, we're Russian. It's like if I was famous or whatever, and they said that I was born, say like they would do like the English thing, and I was born in London. They love saying that, by the way. Everyone's fucking born in London. You see, I'd fucking fume. I'd say, no, I was born in Liverpool. I'm a Scouser, proud Scouser. It's like I went on a rant then. We're only doing a film show. And Paulie says, I've seen Extraterrestrial. It blew me and my friends away. We got a pirate copy in the 80s. If it's the same one, is an animal hit by a car and turns out to be a pregnant ape? No, I know the one you meant. No, this Extraterrestrial. If you ever want to try and get it, Josh Hartnett's in it. And Melissa George. No, it's not. That's 30 Days a Night. No, there's only one actor I knew in it, and he plays a cop, and his name is Gil Bello in Extraterrestrial. So if you see Extraterrestrial and look at the cast and you've got Gil Bello, Gil Bello, Gil Bello, you know his face if you've seen it. You say, oh, yeah, I know it. He's been in loads. Watch it. Cracking film. It's one of the best on a low budget film about aliens. Really good. Really good. that's extraterrestrial. I tried to get tickets as well, none available. My missus was trying to go, she loves The Soprano, greatest ever TV series. That. Tell your wife. I'm totally in agreement with her. And only for James Gandolfini dying, they were about to make a film. And he went on holiday to his homeland in Italy. And he visited Rome. Well, I forget where he was visiting. You know, where his parents and that came from, his family. And I forget where it was. But anyway, he went on a visit to Rome. You know, he was just going to go around Italy and visit places. And he was in Rome, and that's where he died of a heart attack. Just bump, gone. James Gandolfini. The Matador starring Pierce Brosnan about a hit man is a good film. Yes, I've seen it. Say good. And that, thank you again, because you don't realise that this what I was telling you about, the likes of Ernest Borgnine being born in America, and he fucking wasn't. Pierce Brosnan. That's who it was, at the Irish fella. I couldn't think. And it was Pierce Brosnan. He's Irish. But according to them, he's fucking born in Connecticut or somewhere. Fucking terrible. The Americans. Fucking hell. I think they just like, and when they put pictures up, there's pictures of fucking different people. You know, that looks like them. No, that's such a body. It's not him. Mad it is. Really mad. Fucking hell, this pain's killing me. There's my painkillers there. Look at the size of them. Little tiny things, them, you know. They're not big. Does anyone see this film? Tremors, by the way. About big worms. Kevin Bacon. I like Kevin Bacon. He's all right. Oh. He's in a film with his real life wife. The latest one. I forget the title of it. Something about my best or be my best or something like that. Best that is in the title. New film. I think I'm going to have a go at that. Because I don't mind Kevin the Bacon and bacon sandwich. I don't mind him. And the Snapey says, living in South Germany for an extended period, I was introduced to Wagner, go away, by chance, and in tea rooms just outside Munich. I had no idea at the time of how much it piqued my interest in classical music. Hitler loved Wagner, by the way. March of the Valkyries. He loved the big H or the little H. Yeah, he went into the post house, little H, and said, do you play any music? And he said, yeah. He said, well, can you play some Wagner? This was like in 1920 when he was here. And the post house said, we've got no gramophone. He said, never mind. So why, what do you like? He said, March of the Valkyries by Wagner. He said, who's that? Who's Wagner? Well, you know I'm only messing. Bob Hope was born in Bristol. They said another one, like, who was born in Bristol was, what's his name? Cary Grant. And I remember a film with what was it called? The Holiday. And in the script, you had Eli Wallach talking to, what's her face? Oh, we forget this one's face. Name. Well-known actress, British. Kate Winslet. Is it Kate Winslet? Yeah, anyway. And he says to her, he said, oh, you're English? She says, yeah. And where's you from? Oh, I'm from London. Oh, he said, oh, yeah. She said, but I live in a place called Surrey. He said, yeah. He said, that's where Cary Grant came from. And he's fucking Bristol. I don't trust that. I don't trust fucking American history either. You know what they come out with? Fucking useless. And they must get it off Wikipedia, and Wikipedia fucking make half of the things up as well. Something to say. Again, American, isn't it? Fucking hell, this fucking pain. And the boss said, oh, fucking hell, I thought you'd gone. Fucking case this fucking fella, and he forgot to add. By the way, no big recommendations, but 2 other films watched recent. Rules Don't Apply. Our Jewi's Story with Warren Beatty. And Angel Eye. Oddly amusing French comedy. I like anything to do with Our Jews. Warren Beatty. Don't mind him, you know. They reckon he made love to every single leading lady that he was that stars with him. Every single one of them. Good job, Angela. He never stars with Angela Lansbury. I wonder if he was a fancy there. But if you notice, all the leading ladies that in every film that he did were gorgeous. I thought Cozy Powell's uncle, Baden, used to bang the drum for Baden Powell. You know, I've always had thoughts about that Baden Powell, to be honest. If you know what he recruited and made. Know what I mean? Well, I don't want to get into that. But you know what I mean. Some small independent British films are great. Look for a film called Treacle Jr. Says Gary. Treacle Jr. I'll have a go at that. But look at George Harrison, what he did with handmade films. He produced them all. He put all the money into it. They couldn't do anything. So you wouldn't have had The Life of Brian or anything like that with handmade films. But there was a few others as well. There's one with Robbie Coltrane and Eric Idle. And if you ever watch it, it's not half funny. Now, I watched it a few months ago. And, you know, when I mentioned about things being dated, this wasn't. Nuns on the Run. Brilliant. Nuns on the Run. But no one's mentioned about The Wild Bunch. Hasn't no one ever seen The Wild Bunch? Whether you liked it or not. That's one of the greatest scenes ever. And the music. The Wild Bunch. And 2 words. let's go. Absolutely brilliant. You just see four of them walking down a Mexican dirt street. Mexican music going. Fantastic scene. Just that. Yep. The Wild Bunch. And it doesn't look, oh, fuck off, boss, will you? Sorry for coming back, upset you. No, it doesn't upset the show. It's just when you say goodbye, you haven't fucking gone out, you're sitting there listening and stop saying goodbye. That's annoying. That's annoying to anyone. You say goodbye, everyone says goodbye, see you again, and you haven't fucking gone anywhere. You're just sitting there watching it. And stop fucking sending me, I tell you, while I'm at it, boss, stop sending me fucking emails. I don't want my name associated with what you're doing. All right. It's great you're coming on the football show and comment even on this, even on anything. I don't mind that, but I don't want any emails sent by you, my name associated with what you're doing. I've got nothing at all to do with it. Or I'll just fucking block you from everything. And I'll complain to whoever you complain to about these fucking emails. Okay. I'm not being harsh. I'm just asking you, please don't send me emails with my name on. Because you know that I don't fucking answer them. George Harrison funded with Neil and I, says Gary. Yeah, he did. He did. And George Harrison was in the Ruttles. He plays a reporter interviewing Ronnie Wood. Yeah, there was like a thing on the Beatles, wasn't it? The Ruttles. Great Eric Idle. You know, it came from here, you know. Did you know that? And he was mates with Harrison. Eric Idle, that's why he funded them. I've seen most Westerns, as my father-in-law, who died in February last year, was a big fan. We all watched Westerns every evening. I became quite a fan. Josie Wells was a good watch with Clint. With Clint Eastwood, yeah. The Outlaw Josie Wells. I only watched that last week, strangely enough. Where he sees, doesn't he? This, like, marauding crew. Horrible. And they kill his wife and child as a little boy. And he goes, seeks revenge. John Vernon's in it. Good actor, John Vernon. And he died when he was young. Hiya, Lauren. How are you? Good morning, Frankie. Good morning. Good to see you. Lauren Bianchi. You're the first lady on. The only lady on, Lauren. this morning. So, good morning, Lauren Bianchi. And Barry says, morning, Frank. And I just got back from errands. So you're talking about the Wild Bunch? Yes. Ernest Borgnine was a great actor. Yeah. He won an Oscar in 1957, 58 for the film called Marnie. No, it wasn't Marnie. Maria or something like that. Maria. Something like that. One word. And he won an Oscar. Borgnine. And he learns his language at St. Francis Xavier's School. He was brought in. I'll tell you who else was brought into St. Francis. I used to teach there when it became a university. I lectured there. Al Jolson. Al Jolson. When the Jews were being expelled by the Russians. And he came over, sailed from Odessa. And Ernest Borgnine, we went to the same school, not at the same time. He sailed from Liverpool. Both of them sailed from Liverpool to America. It's surprising how many families of presidents came through to Liverpool. The most famous of all is the Kennedy family. Most famous of all. And the Nixon family came through as well. President Nixon. I watched the screening of Spinal Tap with Cozy Powell in the audience. I've never seen anyone laughing so much as Cozy. He could probably identify with, Spinal Tap. I'm trying to think of that film. With Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's funny. Great actor, Philip Seymour Hoffman, unfortunately. He was addictive, wasn't he? And he died. Drug overdose. I used to like Stiller, until I found out about him and what he supports. Oh, fuck you. Fucking Zelensky. Went over to see him. And that fucking arsehole Sean Penn. I used to like Sean Penn. I thought he was a great actor. But fuck him as well. Gave him his fucking Oscar. Zelensky. And he didn't really know the ramifications by giving him the fucking Oscar. He said, I'm only lending you this. Because Zelensky was a fucking actor, a fucking puppet. You could see the strings. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, bang. Bang on. Because Charlie Chaplin's, he's a Londoner, Charlie. His family were in vaudeville. Well, you know, going around the country. And they spent 6 months here at the theatres. We had great theatres, you know. If I had my map, if I could get my map up I'll just show you where the theatres were. We had loads of them here in Liverpool. And his family, his parents were going around. So 6 months and he had to go to school. And he was a little Jewish lad, like El Jolson, a little Jewish lad when he went, not at the same time, but anyway, they went there, along with Ernest Borgnine. Ernest Borgnine, they anglicised his name. It was Ernesto Borgnini. Ernesto Borgnini. So they anglicised his name to Ernest Borgnine. It's like a lot of other people, these Americans, anglicising the names. There was one, Sinatra, and Sinatra's mother said to Jerry Dorsey, a big band leader, because no matter how you know what you think of Sinatra, he had that golden voice. I always remember Gary Christian saying to me, I said, who do you listen to? And he said, there's only one man who I listen to. He said, because every word, every lyric you can understand, and that's Frank Sinatra. Gary Christian said that. Every word you can, and you can, if you listen to Sinatra. But out of the Rat Pack, I preferred Dino Martin. And he was a fucking hard man, Dino. And I mean, a hard man. You didn't mess around with Dino. No one did. Big Douglas tried to. Never fucking messed around with him again. I think he was doing a film or something. Forget now. Anyway, Charlie Chaplin, yeah, Paulie. Went there. While his parents were doing the music halls. Not vaudeville, that's a fucking American name, isn't it? Doing the music halls. Stayed here for 6 months. Ernest Borgnine stayed for 6 months and learnt his language. So did what's his face? And they learnt the English language because they couldn't speak. One little lad was only Russian, couldn't speak a word of English. And the other lads was Sicilian, couldn't speak a word of English. Al Jolson was the little Russian lad, went to SFX, learnt his language there. They took them in, the SFX just took them in, because they were kids, they needed education. And Borgnine learnt his language as well. And there's fucking Americans saying that he was American born. Fucking assholes. They get it right. And Barry says, that's amazing, Frank, such massive stars in their own fields. I am in such awe, really, of your knowledge, and you must feel very proud of your achievement. I don't know. I should have gone on and there was Neil Oliver, who was, Scottish historian, great, nice fella, long hair, goes around. So he used to do the history. And I did something for, remember that? Coast. Remember Coast? Well, I did something and they put me on the red button for some fucking reason. Where you have to press the red and you get the alternative as well. And I was talking about the 40 Thieves, these kids known as the 40 Thieves that went around the Liverpool docks. So I did that. And we got little locations as well we were in. And people said, I seen you on, that was better than what was being said about Liverpool. on what they put out on the coast thing. I went, oh, thanks. And even the Duke of Westminster, I did one of my DVDs. I did the dock, the very first wet dock in the entire world, and the time team was going around as well. And the Duke of Westminster, he said, I don't know why the time team bothered, because the historian, the Liverpool historian, was far better. He gave a far better account of the dock than the time team. So that was a great compliment. Now, where's the point with Neil Oliver? Neil Oliver, I got Tony Snell gave me an email. He said, "Yeah, Mr. Star, you're a big star," he said. And I went, genuine. And the email was, they wanted me, genuine this, they wanted me to go around with Neil Oliver. He would have been on one side of I would have been on the other, doing the history of there. Because I'm not just local, you see. I'm a proper lecturer. And to do one side of the country. And the head of the BBC, he said, well, what's this chap like? And they listened to me on the radio when I was with Tony Snell. And also, he looked at the DVDs that I did. And he said, no, we can't have him. His accent. It's true, though. It's true. His accent. So I never got the chance to do that. But Neil Oliver. And it's a shame. But today, accents don't bother. Oh, and he said, like, well, what about Neil Oliver? I said, well, he's Scottish. And he just speaks Scottish anyway, but he's clear. But we can't have a regional accent. And Barry says, I mean, that's true. Thank you, Barry. I really appreciate it. Really do. Thank you so much. Frank, you're a walking encyclopedia. How do you fit so much knowledge into one brain? I haven't got a brain. You sure there's one there? Thank you. I'm being honest, I had a photographic memory. I remember when I was not quite 2 years of age, believe it or not, being carried to the doctors. I always remember talking to a lad named Tommy Clark. You know, I grew up with Tommy. We were kids, little kids playing cowboys and Indians. And I was saying about something. He said, when we were about 4 or 5, he said, I don't remember that. I said, yeah, that happened. We were nearly fucking killed. We used to get these big boxes, big cardboard boxes, and pretending that they were ships. And we used to, like pirates and whatever, honestly. And we were on the ollie. Fucking big lorry came past, missed us. And the driver jumped out. There was only me and Tommy, Tommy Clark. In the box, and they never seen us. And the driver, as they passed, they seen us in the thing. in the box, the big box it was. And he jumped out, and his mate jumped out as well, second, and said, "You nearly ran over it." He said, "You wanted to run over. You'd have been killed." And Tommy didn't remember that. He said, "I remember that lorry, but he was going to flatten the box on the ollie. This box that 2 little boys were in, 4 or 5. Just imagine that. Just imagine the trauma that he'd have gone through for the rest of his life. Someone said, "Right, Travis, write a book. Your memoirs." Good afternoon. I'm off to make dinner. See, I'm famished. Thanks, Frank. Great episode. Thank you, Paulie, for joining us. And Barry says, "Do you think George Michael had brilliant clarity when he sang?" Yeah, he did. And he was great to people. What he did for other people. And that's the shame about George Michael. It wasn't exposed. My favourite song was Cowboys and Angels from his Listen Without Prejudice. Yeah. Oh, who was it? And he said, why he didn't want to be exposed? There would have been hordes of letters, "Can you help me? Can you help me?" And that's the shame. George Michael. And he was victimised, wasn't he, as well? Even going back to the time, being victimised by, because he was gay. He never really came out, People have to live. And Gary says, there is a lot of prejudice against Liverpool people. Think I'm paranoid when I mention that. But it's, Gary, honestly, I remember being in through this Lido di Eslo on my holidays. Hopefully I'm going there in May. I paid for it with my granddaughter and daughter. I hope I'm just all right. Anyway, that's by the by. And I was sitting on a beach. Genuine this. I was in the reception of the hotel. I was just waiting. And this lady said to me, she said, Scott is softly spoken. She said, I listened to you. You were talking to somebody on the beach. I said, oh, yeah. Now, this fella, believe it or not, was an Albanian. An Albanian on the beach. But he was with his English girlfriend. And he said to me, he knew what I was because we sat at the same table as him and his English girlfriend, who was a physio, but I can do with her now. Anyway, so it's what you do, told them that, blah, blah. And we were on the beach and they were by us. And he said, can you tell me the history of England? And I said, what's that? So I went right back. I went right back to the very first, to the ancient Britain, and these mad little Asian tribes who were always fighting each other. Right, Asian tribes. Then the Romans came. Then, went off into the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, and then medieval, then right through, giving like snippets of everything. And this lady then said to me, she said, I was listening to you. She said, you're not by any chance, very softly spoken. Genuine, very softly spoken. And I said, she asked if I was a lecturer. I said, yeah. I said, I'm a lecturer. She said, what are you doing? And at the time, I was doing English literature. This is absolutely genuine, right? And her husband was standing there, and you know the way you can tell that someone's looking at you and they didn't like you. They thought you were a load of bollocks, which, I've done that to people, which they have been a load of fucking bollocks. So anyway, I said, yeah. I said, funny enough, I said, and I mentioned Macbeth. I said, when I get back, I said, and isn't it strange how I mentioned I'm going to see Macbeth in May at the Empire this May. I mentioned it, didn't I, at the beginning? Anyway, what has happened? Genuine. Honestly. I'm sitting on the beach again, not with the Albanian, I'm just sitting there, me and her, and she said, I'm going for something, I think she was going for drinks. She had to walk. She said, oh, won't be long. I said, okay. So I'm sitting there, and this fella, the softly spoken, they were middle-aged, they were a lot older than me at the time. And he came over. And this is what I've done fucking like, actually. People trying to find you out. And I don't know why they do it. Even when I was in Sorrento, two young, I want to say young, they were in the 20s or whatever, butchers from Middlesbrough. And they were sitting by us, they said, well, what you doing? And I told them, and they were trying to catch me out with fucking quiz questions. And I said, listen, fella, I said, boys, I said, if you want me to be a bricklayer, I will, so I'm a bricklayer. Or if you want me to be a bus driver or a joiner or, anything, or even a labourer, I'll be there. I'm not bothered. I said, I'm not asking stupid questions, trying to verify what I do. So anyway, when I told them that, they went, well, sorry. It was just your accent. Remember the accent? So anyway, this fella came up to me. And he was standing up. And I was sitting on a deck chair. And he said, oh, you're teaching Macbeth? I said, yeah. When I get back, I said, people don't like Shakespeare. For some reason, they don't like, I don't think it's taught properly. And he tried to catch me out. And what it was, he went, he was a softly spoken Scottish person, if you know what I mean. And he said, she should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, and stopped. And I knew where he was coming from. And I carried on by saying, keeps in the petty pace from day to day to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, brief candle, life is but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And he looked at me in astonishment. He just looked at me. And he put his hand out. And I said to him, "It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. That's you. That's you, fella." I said, "You shouldn't try and catch it. If you don't believe anybody, just say nothing. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me one iota. It really doesn't." And he said, "But how do you know about history?" I said, "Well, I'm a historian first and foremost." I said, "And, I love my literature. And I got a place, down at the college. A lady knew me and she said, 'Would you do some night work for me?' I said, 'Yeah.' And I did night work teaching literature because I lectured about the Roman Empire. I said, and she asked me to do some English, and I did. Then years later, I was asked to do some local stuff, which I did. I thought I knew about Liverpool, and I didn't. Because there's lots of myths and urban legends surrounding Liverpool, and people don't realise it. And I thought I knew it, and I didn't until I had to get into it because a friend of mine said, "Will you do some local history?" He invited me down to this opening of an adult centre. He's a friend of mine, still is. Never see him now, like. But, nevertheless, went down, mingling around and whatever. And I went in, he said, "Come and have a cup of tea." They all went. I said, "Yeah, okay." Went in, he said, "Would you do some local history for me?" I said, "I can't." I said, "I know nothing." I said, "Honestly, I know nothing, George." He said, "You must know something." I said, "I'll tell you what." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Just help me out, I'm opening. This is the Friday." I said, "Okay." This is the Friday when we were mingling around and when he asked me to go down. And the very first class was local history. And he said, "I don't know anybody." He said, "Will you do it? Just, and I'll get someone." And I said, "I can't, I know nothing." He said, "You must know something about Liverpool." I said, "I'll tell you what I do know. I know something about a little bit of architecture and also the Liverpool Pals in the First World War." He said, "That'll do, just do that." I said, "Okay." And I went in. The people loved it. And the next was I get a phone call off him during the week. He said, "I can't get anyone. They won't come into the city centre," because this was in the Holy Cross district, Scotland Road. He said, "Please come in next Monday, please." I said, "I know nothing, George." So anyway, I went in, and I did things. And that was it ever since then, And that's what I did. And that's how I got into all this local stuff. Things that you're growing up with, and you think, "Wow, I didn't know that." And wow, But they were all the fucking things that you were going wow about. Didn't happen. So I had to redo everything. And when I had to do a paper on, one of my qualifications on the maritime history, and I thought loads of slaves landed here. Not fucking one. because we told, as you were growing up and whatever, that there was loads of slaves down the pierhead. No such fucking places, the pierhead. And the chains and everything, these big iron rings, all the slaves are there. But this is when you're young and foolish, and you just believe everything. You're even grown up saying, "Oh yes, slaves are here." None whatsoever. Big myth. But you try telling that to people today. Anyway, that's disgraceful when Neil Oliver is Scottish, and some of his programmes on the Scottish Laos, he is very good. He is, Barry. He is. I've got nothing against Neil Oliver, to be honest. Nothing at all. It's just the way it is. And see, right, Frank, I have found a film. Knox Goes Away on. Watch it. We'll watch it tonight and let you know on next week's film and TV pod. Let me know if you're there joining me during the week. Let me know tomorrow if you're there, watch along. I guarantee you will love it. You will love it. Because as I said, I watched it for the second time. Brilliant. Absolutely. But you've got to watch it, if you know what I mean. Right from the minute, bink. First minute. Are you doing a watch along? Yeah. What I'm doing, I'm being honest, I'm doing a watch along. I'm coming on, around 3. What time am I coming on? I'll tell you what time I'm coming on tomorrow. Bear with me. I haven't got my reading glasses on. Jason. Nope, not that one. Do you know what? I get fucking messages and they're all over the place. Oh, I haven't got my reading glasses on. Right. Yeah. 3:45 I'm on tomorrow. 3:45 with a 4:30 kickoff. So it's a pre-match. See? It's a pre-match. And then the watch along, but I won't be. I'll watch the kickoff. Then I'm going into my living room to watch the game. The first half. Then I'll be back for the second half. To see what you're saying. And then when the second half goes along, because I was spoiled the last time, wasn't I? People, saying, "Oh," and I knew. It's like saying. It's like me doing the watch, the thing, what we're doing now, the film and TV, and I recommend a film and tell you the fucking end of it. What's the use of watching it? And it's just like when someone scores a goal and someone goes, "Oh, what a goal, Sebastian, I won't get it." In the comments, I fucking know, I'm waiting for the goal then. So it spoils it for me. So that's what I'm going to do. Do the pre-match, watch the kickoff, go in and watch it in my living room, come at half time, see what we're talking about, say, this is good and this is bad, or, indifference or whatever. And then when they kick off for the second half, I'll go back in my living room, watch it there, come back for the post-match. That's what I intend to do tomorrow on the watch along. How's that? Because I wasn't going to do any. My old mate Paul Burke, he's off. Look, he's going. He's got to do the Uber and up now. Or his wife won't take him to Tenerife. He's always at Tenerife. They're so poorly. Great show, Frank. Again, thanks. And I could listen to it all day and night. A font of all things. Cheers. Enjoy your day. You too. You too. And he loves going to Tenerife and joins the show and says, I'm having a pina colada. I always remember being in the Legs of Man one night, Friday night, and standing there and waiting for the lads, there was a couple of other, my mates there, waiting for the other lads to call in, and 3 girls walked in. Right to the bar, we standing by the bar, and anyway, we were just chatting away. And this girl was shouting over to the barman, do you ever remember when Pernod's came out? And she was shouting, 3 Pernods! 3 Pernods! And I said, listen, love, it's called Pernod. He went, it's not. We can read, I said, okay. 3 fucking Pernods. And the fella came up, was serving them, and he went, it's Pernod, you don't pronounce the D. It's French. Should have seen the look I fucking got. When he told her, he looked at me and went. So he wasn't copping for them fares that night. Great life, isn't it? Yep, I'll be on tomorrow, 3:45, wouldn't miss it. Thank you, T. And on that wonderful note, I'll just say a big, massive thank you for joining me today. Try and watch. You've got to watch. All the Devils Are Here. It's brilliant. Eddie Marsan and Sam Claflin. Really good, honestly. You won't be disappointed. And I'll try and think of that film again, which is a clever film, and I'll tell you tomorrow on the watch along, if you join me, what film it is. It is a cracker. And I've just got to say a big thank you to everybody. What's a Hoover? You know what a Hoover is, Sly Boots. we all do the Hoovers, don't we? Well, I did. I'm still fucking doing it now in here. Trying to tidy up, should see me. Useless, especially with me bloody arm. Got appointments anyway on the 27th of this month. But my spinal cord. And an MRI. See what they can do for me. I just hope, because I'm in terrible pain because of, the breaking now. And I don't want to become addicted to these little pesky things. Well, it looks like I am. Thank you, Frank. Great show. You legend. See you tomorrow. Thank you. TW. Thank you. And Barry says, Frank, apparently there are some artifacts from the Titanic on show in the museum. Yeah, I believe so. I wish I could get down and see them. No, I haven't got it. I still can't get old. Barry, I can't get hold of that fella, for the book. I'll give you that. Honest to God, I will. I'll give you that. I'm going to give him another week. I can't get hold of him. It's brand new. It's brand spanking new. There's the spine. Everything is new. And if I can't get hold of them, it's yours. I promise you that. Fucking hell. See that tram? That was the last tram. Right in 1957. The last tram to go in Liverpool. It's ended up in San Francisco. And I think it's still there today. Our last tram. Still being utilised apparently, which I'm made up with. And on that wonderful note, people, I'll have to go. My little head's banging. And Fraser says, "That's wonderful, Frank. Will you be doing a book, sir?" No. I'd done all that years ago. No more. But someone said to me, "Will you do your sort of memoirs?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to do that." You know, with history thrown in, obviously. But some mad anecdotes of my life. I got chased by a little bear once. Think about that. A fucking bear. Me. So, you know, might throw all that. Well, I will do that if I do it. Anyway, thank you so much. I've got to go. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. On the watch along. Mille grazie. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you on Monday for the history show. Thanks, people. Ciao.